We begin tonight in Queensland, where a disaster zone has been declared in Townsville after 6 days of monsoonal rain. The Army has been called in after authorities had no choice but to open the floodgates on the Ross River Dam last night, forcing 2,000 cubic metres of water into the city every second. Thousands of people have been evacuated from their homes, and a quarter of homes in the city remain at severe risk of flooding. Nick Dametto is the MP for Hinchinbrook.
We woke up to another wet morning today. We've been doing everything from sandbagging out there with the people to being a part of the local disaster management group meetings, the high-end sort of decision-making stages of managing this weather event. But while I haven't been a part of, while I'm not in those meetings, it's been literally out there bagging up sand to put sandbags around people's houses. And even today, just the outpouring of generosity from people helping out there, whether it's helping preserve property or life, has just been incredible.
We've seen some of the pictures, but tell me, what is the water level like? Is it still raining?
Yes, so it's still raining here in Townsville, and the biggest problem for Townsville at the moment is water falling in the catchment area of our local dam. Now, the dam level got to 43 metres overnight, and that's when the floodgates opened to their full capacity, which saw 2,000 cubic metres of water a second coming over those spillways. So that's what's seen the Ross River swell to flood conditions, and we've seen a lot of inundation of houses in the lower sections of Townsville.
How many people have been evacuated now?
So the last call was just short of 2,000 people evacuated from their houses. And if you have a look at any of the evacuation centres, they've got anything between 300 to 600 people at each evacuation centre, and it's controlled chaos down there at the moment. We've got the Red Cross, the local Salvation Army, as well as Queensland Police Services and ambulance services, helping to not only look after the people but cook and keep everyone nice and safe in these weather conditions.
So I saw military were in there helping with evacuations. Is people still being moved out of their houses, and how are they getting around?
Well, we had the military, so the Australian Defence Forces, evacuating people with large sort of people-moving personnel sort of vehicles. They call them the bushies here in Australia. They're a large people mover. We've even seen footage last night of people being moved on the back of dump trucks and stuff like that, just to get people out of those flooded areas. It really is a disaster zone here, and but it's refreshing to see all the agencies working together, as well as the community. We even had a couple of people out there in small boats, or tinnies as they call them in Australia, aluminium boats, going around rescuing people off their own back, where they heard people were either stuck on roofs or in properties or on properties where they couldn't escape from.
Must have been pretty scary for some of the older people there, or people who are not so mobile.
Yeah, that's right. So, it would be very difficult for some of the elderly to respond quickly to some of these evacuation notices, as well as disabled people and stuff like that, and people with young children, or maybe even people with vehicles that had already been inundated with water and could not move themselves. So very scary for a lot of people. But like I said, everyone seems to have worked together really well. We have had 0 casualties when it comes to a loss of life, which is the most important thing here. If you have a look at all these houses, roads, public infrastructure, they can be replaced, but it's the human life that needs to be preserved here, and we're doing a very good job at keeping everyone safe at the moment.
I know people in areas were told to evacuate. Did anyone stay despite the warning?
Yes, some people did choose to stay. Some people chose to stay and then changed their mind at the last minute. That made it very a difficult time, and a very frantic time for emergency services like the SES and Queensland Police Services, and even the ADF when they had to get in there and rescue these people at the last minute. There was reports last night of people actually sitting on the roofs of their houses or up in their roof cavity waiting to be rescued, which is it's pretty scary. So in my mind, it would have been nicer to get those people out a little bit earlier, but people always have their own decisions to make.
Nick, I hear that in some cases there's been Crocs in the floodwater. Is that right?
Yeah, certainly has. So some of the images that have emerged have been saltwater crocodiles, which is the more bitey breed of crocodile. And you've got to be a little bit worried about crawling along some of the roads and bridges. But there's also been a lot of freshwater crocodiles, and they're about as scary as a frog with teeth. So
as if you don't have enough already to worry about. As if you don't have enough already to worry about.
Well, it's a very important point to make. Wherever there's floodwater at the moment, there could be anything from snakes, crocodiles, or even bacteria. So people have been urged, if they don't have to be in the floodwater, good idea to get out of it.
So next couple of days, are you expecting the rain to just keep coming?
So we're expecting the rain to come down pretty heavily for the next day or so. Hopefully it starts to dissipate by about Wednesday. And once that rain stops and the dam actually falls to a level that is safe again, the floodgates will be able to close. And then once that happens, that's going to be where the real hard work happens here, the big clean-up. So once that sun comes out and all that water starts draining away, you're still going to have a lot of water sitting around, which poses a few different threats. You got bacteria, the smell, but also the mosquitoes. And Townsville has been known to have dengue fever outbreaks, which is a disease that's carried by mosquitoes. So it's we're sort of almost at the end of the flooding event, but we're definitely not out of the woods when it comes to the problems that come after this.